This is Finding Your Next Deal with this illustrious panel. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. And we're going to start right here to my left with Mr. Murchison. And then we've got Lisa Gaines and also Alexis down at the end. And we are going to talk about what?
Finding your next deal.
All right. And so tell us a little bit about your business, John.
Okay. What do you want to know? You know?
How'd you get started in real estate?
Okay, well, I got started in real estate a while ago, a long time ago. I first got licensed actually at the end of 2003. My first year in the business was 2004. I was a company called Dream Team Realty. I was there for about 3.5 years before I moved on and started bartending at a country club in about 2008. I was there for a few years before I decided to come on back into real estate, joined Williams in 2013. Okay. I've been here since, and that's how I got started in the business. Right now, you know, I became a full-time agent, like right around just before the pandemic hit. You know, I decided that I need to just totally focus and get focused on real estate and what I wanted to do. I knew this is where I wanted to make my bread and butter. I was a dual agent or dual career agent at that time. Most of them, I'm not gonna say dual career agent. Maybe I was, maybe had 3 things, so 4 things going on at the time. You know, between bartending, you know, I'm a licensed life insurance agent, real estate, and a few other side hustles.
As well as a family man, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Children and a wife at home, and you know, real estate was like, okay, I need to really get focused on what I wanted to do with real estate, and real estate was bread and butter. Okay, you know.
And you said it was the bread and butter. What's your business like now?
Business right now is, I would still say that it's not exactly where I would like it to be, but I think I'm going definitely in the right direction. Currently, I have 28 units pending.
Wow.
Wow.
You know, between a large investment package, I just closed a few transactions last week. So I was up to 33, and then it, you know, obviously with the closing and everything, now I'm down to 28, but right now I'm working and I'm busting it to get the number back up because I've noticed that, you know, over the past couple of years that I've been doing coaching, I've developed a threshold, you know, to where, you know, I don't want to fall between, you know, below a certain level of transactions pending. You know, and then once you get going and all that stuff, you kind of feel like this anxiety, things that you have once you feel like, all right, man, I'm dropping between, because I had developed a threshold, especially over the last year or so, where I was between 8 to 10 deals pending at all times. And when it would drop between 8, like or below 8, it's like, oh my God, I got to get something else on the table, you know. And that's a feeling, that's honestly a good feeling that you should have. You know, because now you set a barometer for yourself and feel like, okay, well, if I'm dropping below this, then I really got to get moving, get busting, and looking for other opportunities. And
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about here, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us about a goal you have for this year. What's the goal in your business for this year?
Goal in my business this year is I am aiming to start a team. That's one goal. But the other goal is actually I would like to eclipse 10 million in production this year.
Awesome. Ms. Gaines, how are you? So tell us about yourself. How'd you get started in this business?
I started in this business, well, I got licensed in 2006. I was asked to get my license by the lady who sold me my house when we moved here in 2002. And so my real estate agent asked me, she says, you should do this. And I thought about it and had some other businesses going on and finally made that move.
That's funny. My real estate agent, when I moved here, also got me, because I believe it was you, right? So I got licensed right after I met you as well.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It
You
is.
see, I see that Zimmer sold me the house and so I'm here.
Yeah.
Bob
So-
Zimmer.
So tell me a little bit about where your business is now.
Well, I'm a founding member of a team, the North Star team, and it's me and Dotsie Jelks. And I think we probably are at a plateau right now too, as far as, so we're looking to see about what we can do to increase our business by adding on maybe some buyer's agents and things of that sort in order to leverage ourselves out here, because we're running around like crazy. But so, what that tells you, when you're running around like crazy, I can't take on any more unless I bring on, another person that can help to do some of that and us enjoying the rewards of that. So, we're looking to leverage out some of our stuff and so that we can increase our volume.
Wonderful. And what's the goal for you this year? I guess that is the goal this year, right?
That's one of my goals, but another goal is diversifying a little bit. I'm taking the page out of my friend Carol's book, and I'm trying to do a little investment property and everything. I've always thought about it. But when someone is, every time you run across people and everybody's talking about it, and then you go, oh, and you realize that you're not hearing all horror stories. I go, oh, how's that going for you? And it's going great. Oh, okay. I guess I have no excuse not to do it, So, sometimes it takes being hit up, because I started out trying to do investment properties 30 years ago, and, I had some I don't want to, some societal pressures from, my family going, oh, but you're a girl, and oh, but you shouldn't do that, that sort of, you shouldn't do it, And it was before I was married, so I was like, you don't even have a husband, why do you want a house? And so, I was like, but I really think that this would work, And I was like, I don't know. The math tells me that this should work, but I got talked out of it, and so I'm finally getting back to it thanks to hearing other people's experiences and finding a path that I think will work for me. So I just bought my first investment property. I'm going to tile the floor tonight.
Wait, you're going to tile the floor?
Yes. So the
Wow.
one thing I did do is once I got married, and everything, and it was acceptable for me to have a house. I'm from the South, y'all. So, my mother was like, no, you shouldn't have a house. So I learned how to do stuff. And so I learned how to I'm on my 9th house that I own personally. But when we got started, of course, I couldn't afford the best house or whatever. And so I slept on the floor 11 months in my first house, because I slept on the floor on the first floor and renovated the second floor, and then moved up to the second floor and renovated the first floor.
Nice.
And so that's, so I learned some stuff. I know how to set a toilet. I know how to tile. I know how to change the faucets on the sink. I know how to put up ceiling fans.
My wife and I have done very much the same thing. I've gotten to a point now where I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I appreciate actually going out and doing it. It saves you money, and it's good.
But it's hard to find people sometimes.
That is
too.
true,
Especially
too.
now.
Yes,
especially right
yes.
now.
Especially now.
So that's exactly why that's really more, it's not that I love doing it, because it does mess up my manicure. However, it's, it's hard to find people that are gonna come when they say they're gonna come and do what they, and it's a little bathroom. I can handle that.
Knock that out quickly.
Yeah, I can knock that out real quickly.
All right, wonderful. And Alexis Jones, tell us how you got into this business.
So previously, I was in healthcare management for about 15 years. I started investing in real estate when I was 20, about 37 now. So real estate has always been my passion. And so I got licensed January of last year. February, I jumped out on faith and became a full-time agent. My business is on my sphere, social media.
Okay. And tell us about your business right now. Where is it at?
So I have 9 pending transactions. Goal for this year, Q1 and myself, we're building a team. So just to get the team up and running and invest in more properties for myself and family.
Nice, nice. So this panel is about finding your next deal, and you touched on that a moment ago, John. You said when you get below 8, was it?
Mhm.
When you get below 8 transactions, you start kind of getting nervous and looking for where's that next deal going to come from. So what does that look like for you when that happens? What do you do on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis to ensure that you get those deals coming in?
Okay, great question. I think once I start feeling that pressure, number one, I have a coach that's on my back telling me, you're falling below or behind on where you should be. So once I start feeling that type of pressure, the first thing I usually do is I check my pipeline for opportunities. Not just, all of you guys should get familiar with what a pipeline actually means. Is any people that you've had a conversation with that says that they have interest in possibly either selling a home or purchasing a home. Ideally within this year, develop that list of people, which right now currently between buyers and sellers, I have about 169 people on that list. And then start following up with them regularly. Some of you may not contact as often, but you need to get back to it. So once I start feeling that, the first thing I check is my pipeline. Who is the next person or the next opportunity that I can touch, that I may be able to pull forward to the forefront and start getting going on the right path to purchasing or maybe even selling their home.
Where do you keep your pipeline?
Okay, very good question. So right now I do Google Sheets, because that was something that was showed to me by Eric Akbar, who's my coach, was kind of tracking on Google Sheets. Before I kind of was just writing everybody on a whiteboard at home. I had a list of people, but the problem with that was that with the whiteboard is that I can't transport that with me. I might take a picture of it and I said, you gotta look at a whole bunch of pictures and stuff to find what you have on the whiteboard at home. But if you transfer it, you put it into Google Sheets, now I got something that can go between all my devices and I can always open it up and, track where I'm at in my business. So that was one thing. And then also the use of Command. Command is a phenomenal tool with creating your opportunities. And, you can create a lot of tiles and everything there. But I think right now I look more at my Google Sheets than I do Command, just because it just kind of works better to me, and I can always click into that and look at my sales pending, look what I have in my seller pipeline, look at who I have in my buyer pipeline, and so on. And so that gives you a great space to be able to track who you have in your pipeline. And those people are not going into that pipeline. So like with Command, you have your database.
Yeah.
And your database are your people that you know, everybody that you've met, so maybe some people that they refer to. Those are everybody that goes into your database, but your pipeline are the people that you've had a conversation about real estate that goes into that pipeline. And then those are the people that you're immediately following up with the most, because they've already expressed that they have interest in doing so. And those are where you're gonna find your opportunities.
So what I hear is, one, you have a coach, and it's the productivity coach here at the Market Center. And 2, you're using a system, and these are all people you've already met or at least communicated with. So now you're in the follow-up, correct? Okay, all right, good. And how about you, Alexis? What do you do on a day-to-day basis, a week-to-week basis that keeps you at 8 or more pending at any given time?
So I used to, when I was not structured, so Trina got on me about that. So I use command more. I used to just have these papers and a ton of notebooks. So now I try to just follow a bowl. I try to contact 25, talk to
If you're following
25
old, you
people.
don't try.
No, I do. I talk to 25 people a day. At the end of my week, I ensure that I have 30 new people within my pipeline. I do a lot on social media. I was never big on social media, never was into making
Can't tell.
videos, going live, doing things like that. But that's kind of like my go-to, and it's been very helpful for me. I think also just, well, what I would tell anyone is just to step out the box and really just get on social media and do those videos, because even if they're not in the face of your followers, they go really far. You know, if you might have 1,000 followers, but then you might have like 9,000 views, you know. Even if it's investors that reach out to you, I have investors that reach out to me, and I'm not really big on wanting to work with investors, you know, from out of state. But if I have some that are really serious and want to move forward, then I will. But for me, it's just making sure that I'm keeping people in my pipeline. I'm nurturing my pipeline. I do get clients that need help with credit repair. So I have a young lady that helps with that. I have two lenders that help my clients with that. So if they're not ready right now, I can trust that they can put them on the right path and not put them in a credit repair program that's not going to work in their favor.
So in your business, you're using a lot of social media and allied resources.
In conversations, I talk to everybody.
Okay.
If I'm at a women's event, I have those conversations. If I'm at a table of 5 people, I'm talking to everybody. I'm not telling them, hey, I'm a realtor, come work with me. But if the conversation shows itself, then I comfortably have that conversation.
Okay. And 25 people a day, so that's 5 more than bold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. And Ms. Gaines, how do you stay on top of the world?
I do a lot of social media.
Okay.
I do a lot of social media, and I'm, you know, we're in a lot of places on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I recently started doing TikTok. My son has been doing TikTok, so my 20-year-old has been helping me to learn to do TikTok. So if I look silly, it's his fault.
TikTok and here.
No, right?
There's the queen right there.
Yeah. So I've been, you know, and just trying to, and the way I do that to kind of save myself, because, you know, I don't go full face every day, right? So when I'm full face and hair done, everything like that, I make a lot of videos and bank them. and bank them. Yeah, bank them. Yeah.
That's the smart thing to do. That's what every content creator says.
Yes,
You know,
yeah, I
make a
bank them.
bunch and put them out systematically.
Absolutely. You know, and everywhere I go, you know, there's not a person that, you know, I encounter for more than 5 minutes that doesn't know what I do. You know, some kind of, if it's the Uber driver, you know, where are you going? I'm going to a real estate conference because I sell real estate, you know.
I remember it was my second, well, she was actually my second buyer, my first buyer's client. But I was in the mall and I was trying on these shoes and I was like, oh girl, these shoes are so cute. These gonna be good for coming in and out of these houses.
That's right.
Like, what would you do? She ended up being my first buyer 2 months later. So I definitely just have conversations with everyone. I was at a women's event and I was like my 3rd month in real estate. And a young lady that was at the table, she was a lender, I was a realtor. So we exchanged numbers. She does actually credit repair for some of my clients right now. She's in the process of getting her own brokerage. But her grandparents wanted to sell a piece of land. Turned out the land, she wanted to list it at $2.75 million. So this is my 3rd month in real estate. So I called Kara. I'm like, Kara, what I'm supposed to do? She's like, well, I didn't know, maybe you should repair it. You got to do it. So I end up taking it on. Of course, you know, we have a great agents here that are very supportive just to reach out and just figure out, you know, if you have a situation, what are you going to do? For this, it was commercial for me, and it was my 3rd month, you know. And I even told her, I said, well, you're in Columbus, maybe you can find, you know, another agent. She's like, no, I just want you to do it. I don't want anybody else to do it.
All right.
So it's just important just to have those conversations. And it wasn't pressure. I didn't ask for her for anything when I met her at that event. I didn't ask her to send me clients. You know, people pick up on good people, and you have to treat everybody right.
Yes, yes.
You know,
yes.
Gary Keller says we're in the relationship business until they need real estate help, and then we're in the real estate business. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's a good example of being in a relationship. And speaking of follow-up and systems, you know, Ms. Gaines, you have quite the book of business. How do you stay in touch with everybody and keep them all in place and know where they are? Because you asked John what his system was. So what's your
So
system?
I'm trying to figure out a better one. I didn't bring it with me, but I have a bound book
Oh, wow.
that has all of the bold laws embossed on the front of it. And you can't if you take pages out, they're just out. You know, it's not a tearaway book. And I can go back and any day in my book, and I always hate to switch book because then I'm between two books, but I keep a book. And I'm trying to train myself to go to command. That's why I was listening and asking questions.
But you keep your clients in the book?
I keep everything in that book.
Oh, wow.
Everything, you
Oh,
know.
man.
Yeah, old school, but everything is, and I keep in my house, in my office, I have my books from years
Oh, wow.
back. And so, yeah.
And you pull them out, like call the people from the book?
Well, I have gotten some of them into, yeah. But when I moved here from my previous brokerage, you know, I had done a lot of open houses and had all those open house sheets. Yes, my admin was appalled, but I handed her a bunch of sheets. I was like, put these in the computer. You know, I had, you know, where people had signed in and everything. Oh, funny story about that. I would always do an open house and I would always do the first line and I would say, John Smith, 123 Main Street. But I guess I neglected to tell her, she says that John Smith comes to every open house. I was like, no, I do that to show people how to sign in. So, but yeah, open houses is a great place to build your business as well. You know, now that we're back seeing each other, you know, in person. I initially built a lot of my business on open houses. I would sometimes do 2 on a Sunday, you know, and people sometimes would get mad because they were like, well, can we just stay a little longer? I'm like, nope, gotta get to my next open house. So, but yeah.
Get them to schedule an appointment with you.
Good answer. But you know, yeah, so I've got to do better. I am, you know, but those books are my lifeline. You know?
If I can use command, anybody can. David will tell you how I am. I'm a dinosaur, but command is the best thing that happened in my life. And I'm telling you, I had stacks, I had legal pads. I have none.
You know,
And command, I don't do all the fancy stuff, the opportunities. The only thing I do is when I hang up talking to you, Lisa, phone number, email, 2 kids, what you want, boom, that's the end of it. And anybody can do that, because I can't do too much.
I've got to get better, because right now I'm still booking all of that information. I'm talking to people and I'm writing and everything. And then I
write, I still do that. I talk and write. As soon as I hang up,
you put it in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I talk and write as well. I don't type it in, I write it.
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
talking, I keep a pad next to me, and then I have a time block where I go back and put everything into
Okay.
command.
and you got an assistant. I tell my assistant, I just say, new contact buyer, name, email, phone number, notes. She puts it in.
Yeah, I've got to get some more time because right now there's 2 of us using, you know, one assistant. So we've got to get some more time there.
More people.
Yeah. More hours to do that, because right now everything we have her doing, she barely has time to do the stuff so yeah, I've got to get better, but yeah, but it doesn't sound like it's systematized, but it actually is.
It's for you.
Yeah,
it's
you're
for
up there,
me.
right?
Yeah,
We've seen.
yeah. Yeah, it's systematized and it works, but both that, you know, then I made it bad. I gave my sister and I gave Dotsy the same book that I was using. I said, here, use these books. I know, bad. But my sister does put a lot of things into command for me. I barely know how to use command.
Well, you know, the market's shifting, right?
The market is
You know,
shifting.
we're down in sales and sellers are reluctant, you know, what is it, like 80% of people in homes have a rate that's under 5%. And I think 20 to 30% have a rate under 2%. So how do you get sellers to sell with you? You know, what are you saying to people who are saying, you know, I don't want to pay that higher rate, or I don't want to sell right now? What are your answers to some of those?
I tell my clients, I had one client, he didn't have the best situation, but he was working through getting all of his things over to the lender. And he said, I called him, I said, we're just waiting on this one document. You need to send this one document. He's like, why I talked to my friend and interest rates, he got his interest rate at 2%. And I'm like, listen, that was a time that we probably won't ever see. You know, it's during COVID. We weren't able to grab on. If you weren't able to grab on to that time, well, she was at 5.25%. So I just tell my clients, don't focus on the rate, focus on the monthly payment. And refinance later.
Yeah. But how do you get people to sell their houses, you know, and not just talk about buyers, because the buyers is still good. How do you get them out of the house?
I mean, there's still equity in homes for me.
You talk about the equity.
Yeah.
And you let them know what's going on in the market, and there's buyers still out, and showing the graphs, and just send them a market analysis. You know, just have that conversation. Don't be afraid to, once you open it up and just to have the conversation, because, you know, interest rates, and of course, if they're looking for somewhere to go, you know, that'll scare them. But once you start that conversation and just kind of get them to say, tell me more, what happened that you changed your mind, you know?
And based on your clientele, you start really talk about those concessions and buying down, you know, helping buying down that rate. But sellers for me is more so just what Carol said, just making sure, you know, talking about equity is whatever area they're trying to go to, what they're working with, just based on their situation for me.
And I tell them too, the people that got that low interest rate, my own personal clients, pay $40,000 more.
Exactly,
the
I
house.
do that too.
So now
Yeah,
you're getting it for 20, 30,000 less, but you're at whatever it is, 6.5. So you can refinance whenever. It's never gonna be that rate forever. But guess what? The people that pay 40,000 more, they owe it for life.
Yeah.
and you have that
They
ability
change
to
it.
go in and, you know, get those concessions and not have to go over the asking price. I remember I was looking, well, so I'm different from seasoned agents because it's only 1 year for me. So I hear the shift, but I don't feel the shift as much. you
Right,
know,
shift
'cause I
from
feel-
where?
Yeah. I'm trying to shift here, you
That's
know,
a good
just
thing,
saying,
right?
back here, I'm like, okay, right here, you know, so I'm like, all right, but you know, so
You say
I
so.
feel it different, but I know, cause I remember this house in Lakewood and I was like, okay, my buyer really wanted that home. And I'm just like, okay, but it went 40,000 over asking price. Like, we're not doing that. You know, like there's zero equity. You're going to, and waiving inspections, waiving everything like
I
this.
see, that's one thing.
Yeah, they did all of that.
Last year, they were doing that, and people that did that wave inspections and paid more, they're gonna regret that.
Well, one person waived seeing it. I thought I was the
wouldn't
first
even
one.
do
They
it.
waived seeing the property. They paid 45,000 over. And the first time they ever walked in the property, forget an inspection, was when the deal closed, was the first time they walked, seeing their own house that they paid for. I said, I gotta sit back. You talk about a shift, this is too much shifting for me. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's what it
I
was.
saw a
So.
lot of that.
Yeah. And Mr. Murchison, how about you? What are you telling sellers to get? I mean, you've got quite a list of sellers. So what are you telling them to get them to push their properties?
I think like the key thing is just like you said, giving them information about where the market is today. And just having a very real conversation with them. See, when they look at the interest rates of where they were, again, that was something that was not normal. So really where the market is today is, to me, it's kind of like the market just shifting, it's normalizing. And it's getting back to where it was maybe, 7, 8 years ago. So, we're dealing with, a normalizing market at this time. And the good thing about it is that it's still a great time to sell because we're still dealing with low inventory. So you're still getting good numbers for your home. And you still have an opportunity where there's still a lot of buyers that are still out here that's looking for something.
Yeah.
So that's not going to change. When we went through the pandemic, even when we went through a recession back in 2008, people were still buying homes. So there's never a time that you cannot sell a home. People are always looking. So I just tell them that, like, hey, even though interest rates are up, there's still great opportunities. And if you're looking at a potential opportunity where you can sell your home now, still get a good price for it, and you can move on and get to your next goal, or you're going to sit here and you're going to wait. And then you're talking about years down the line when you're expecting it to drop back to a 4 or 5%. You don't know that that's going to happen. So you kind of just got to deal with the opportunities or what's going on with the market today, and work with that adjustment. And again, like Alexa was saying, the interest rates and things, they have an opportunity where, if they get into a property with a higher interest rate, if the rates happen to take a dip, they go down, they drop down with it. That's your time to refi and save yourself some money. So you just talk with them, just have that candidate, that information and that conversation with them. And honestly, they start looking at you more like you're a professional. You know exactly what you're talking about.
And I like what you said about
and
the inventory is still down. And that's so, no, it may not be 30, but everybody is still having multiples on occasion.
I mean, you talk about supply and demand when you're looking at it like that.
Yeah,
So,
supply and demand, that's what it all is. That's true.
Absolutely.
And then those conversations with the sellers have to differ too, because you have those sellers that want to, price their homes according to that old market.
Yep.
So just having that conversation as well, because if you want your house to sit, and I find that sellers, they want to price their home based on two things, billings and, just a number, that higher number. So I just tend to have those conversations and say, okay, if this is what you want to do, but we're going to have a conversation in a week if we're not getting, the results that we want.
So what do you think key activity is for real estate agents right now to consistently keep their pipelines full? What should a new agent or a seasoned agent be doing daily to keep their pipelines full? What would you suggest?
If I could, the very first thing, I'm holding sunglasses for a reason, and because I see a lot of people doing it, especially if you're dual career. Don't be a secret agent. Yeah. Don't be a secret agent. Make sure that you're letting people know that you are a real estate agent and that you can help them find a house or sell their home. So you want to make sure that you're letting everybody that know that you are a real estate professional. So that's the very first thing. Go out, make an announcement, and let people know.
There was a couple that actually moved to a new area and they did just that. They only wore logo gear and their name badges, and they were able to become mega agents in their market just by going out and having people start conversations with them because of what they were wearing. And the answer to how's the market doing is it's great. Why do you ask?
Yes.
So you were going to say something, John?
Okay, what was the question again?
The question was,
John, you're not old enough to do that yet. I am. No.
what should a real estate agent be doing
Okay.
consistent?
Right, what real estate agents should be doing consistent? I mean, obviously, number one, is getting in lead generation. We always say that's, lead generation is the cornerstone of the business. But like Lisa was saying, getting out and getting in front of people, and having those conversations, talking to people regularly, introducing yourself, maybe getting involved in community events, anything, just having that hustle and grind mentality, I'm gonna do what it takes, period. I'm gonna get out if I gotta get involved with something to get in front of some people so I can make some contacts, this is what I gotta do, you know, promote myself, promote my business. You need to do that regularly, you know, every single day. You need to, if you're gonna do your lead generation on the phone, fine, do that, you know, then go to your next step. What can I do now where I can get out in front of some people and have some meaningful conversations, or talk to some people, let them know that I'm a professional in real estate. You should do all of those type of things. You know, newer agents, you know, doing open houses. You know, if you don't have a listing of your own, talk to some agents, you know, Satrina, Carol, you know, I may have some listings and things like that that you can, you know, go and hold open house at, you know, and you utilize that as an opportunity for lead generation. You know, the people that come through there, a lot of times people like me, you know, if you hold one of my listings open and I have a good one, anybody to come through there, I don't want to see them. Put them in your database. You can work with them. You know, I don't have to work with them. I have to listen. Bring me a buyer. And that's the mentality a lot of agents here at Keller Williams GM. It's like, we want opportunities for everybody. You know, if you can hold this open for me, fine. I'm okay with you, you know, taking those leads or those people that come through there. Because I'm on a totally different thing. You know, I want to focus more on listings myself anyway. But figure out whatever it is, whatever type of opportunities, things that you can plug into, that's going to get you in front of people or draw people to you. And that's what you should focus on doing regularly.
How about you, Alexis? And I'm sorry.
I just wanted, this is my, well, yeah, this is my laptop. I can sit at Panera, Whole Foods, and ask me about real estate, you know, and I may be doing some work, but that way, you know, people are like, oh, what do you do? Oh, you sell real estate? That's enough. Get people to, you know, make yourself a magnet, like you said, you know, that's another way. And these are sold on Amazon, okay?
So for me, what's the question?
You're definitely not.
I got it. I just want to hear one more time.
So the key activity that agents should be doing.
Key activity. So for me, it's just being in front of people. So if that's where you need to do some buyers seminars or some, you know, get people in the room about investment properties. Kawan and myself, we started to do on social media twice a month, whether it's buyers education or it's talking about investment properties, just being present, having those conversations with everyone, you know, setting those goals. Every day when I get up and I start my day, I look at my goals for the month. Those are what keep me going. If I meet my goals and I excel my goals, that doesn't mean that I can relax. I have to keep it going, you know, so that I can, because my goals might be a little small, 2 buyers, 2 listens a month, you know, so I want to increase that, of course, but just keep just having those conversations and being present, and also don't be afraid to, you know, post your wins. You know, even if your wins are a $25,000 house, that's okay. Every house is not going to be beautiful. You know, I see some agents where everything looks like LA. You know, we're not in LA, so we have to make sure. And you might get those buyers that don't want to talk to you because they're like, oh, I just want to spend 100. You know, or I don't even want to buy this small investment property. So just be realistic, you know, on social media, and it is what it is. I don't sell, all my homes are beautiful, you know, some are ugly, but they are for someone. So that $25,000 buyer is gonna get people in your inbox like, Alexis, you have any more for 25,000? You have any more for 50? Commission is your commission, you know.
3,500 times 10.
Yes.
Win is win, right?
3,500 times 10, 33,500.
So being a real estate agent requires quite a bit. With so much going on, how do you stay off that real estate roller coaster? How do you manage your time in order to keep your lead generation time blocked and bunkered so that you do it at a high level to keep staying where you are?
So for me, the best thing I could have done recently was hire a transaction coordinator. So she's actually a friend of mine, but that's what she does. Like, she works at Medical Mutual and she is the secretary of like the CEO and things like that. So that's her thing. She works from home, but she's passionate about it. And I've had another person I was looking forward to having, but it just wasn't a good mix with, you got to find somebody that's eager. And sometimes it can be a friend, you know, because you know your friend knows you. you know, and you just gotta get someone but that, anyway, that allows me to work out some space to where I can time block and definitely focus more on lead generation.
Leverage.
Yes,
Leverage.
leverage. So
Yeah.
I'm in a place where I'm trying to leverage everything. I don't have a lot of money, but if it's, you know, paying my mom or something to come and do laundry, things like that, because she's retired, you know, that extra money to help her, or just anything, just leveraging out stuff so that I can stick to my time block.
Good job.
Yeah, how about the rest?
I've been with KW for 8 years, and my admin has been with us for 7.5 of those 8 years. And she was a mom friend. So you know, when I have 3 kids and, you know, track meets, swim meets, PTA meetings, whatever, I was always running into her because her kids are the same age as my kids. And she was a stay-at-home mom, but her kids were getting older. And I said, hey, you have a couple hours you want to work a week for, you know, some coffee money. You know, that's how it started out. And now, like I said, she's been with us, you know, for a very long time. And so that's how she's a great help. And that's how, you know, we are able to, you know, do a little bit more.
If I meet one to start off with coffee money, I'm paying her. If you find me one, I'll pay.
But I mean, you know, she don't want to work full time. You know, she was like, no, I don't want to work. I have my kids. I still want to go to this and do this and that. So she was fine with, and I had no idea that was my first hire.
Right.
Had no idea what I was going to need. So I was like, okay, well, let's just try.
How many hours she work now?
She works 3 days, and 3 8-hour days right now. And so, and she is in school now, but she doesn't want to work any more than that.
Okay, so if I could be completely transparent, I would tell you I'm still all over the place. That is the truth. I'm still all over the place. You know, between, you know, family, kids, my son's basketball, AAU, daughter's track, other stuff. I tend to be floating in a lot of different places. So I do have a time block, but the key thing to me is sticking to it. Or finding yourself to, you know, just staying committed to whatever your goal is. You know, if I say I got to do this, then, you know, finding time whenever you need to do it to get it done is what you have to do. You know, everybody's situation is going to be different, obviously. You know, so as far as figuring out how to time block, you know, I've been getting to the office a bit more, you know, getting back on that and committing to get here to the office. And, you know, for those that don't come to the office, start coming to the office a little more. You know, I'll tell you, it does wonders when you get into the environment and you get around other individuals with like-mindedness. And this is your workplace, you know, where you can kind of cut away a lot of the distractions and things and focus on your business and what you got to do. And then when you're in the environment with other individuals who are doing what you do, you find yourself a little bit more motivated to compete. A little bit more like, oh, what you got going on? Oh, you got 9 pending on. Your team.
I'm following Carol. Now I'm here early. I'm peeking it up. Oh, you here? I'm here. Oh, you here again? I'm still
So
here. I followed her all week. Tired.
Yeah, Trina Tay, I see that. So this week she said, John, you need to start bringing some of your friends to the office. I see you've been here all week. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I gotta find me some friends, I guess. You know? But yeah, start coming to the office, get to the office.
Please.
And I'm telling you, it just does
Look at
something
what
for
you
you.
do.
You
Just
know,
come.
then you
Sit
start
in the
finding
booth,
yourself
do like
focus
this.
on your business and things start happening. You know, it's just, I guess it's the universal law of attraction. You know, when you start, you know, putting things out there, you start attracting more of what you focus on, things that you want.
Absolutely. What
in
you
your
focus
business.
on expand.
That's
the
right.
whole law.
Yeah, so once you start just plugging in,
Carol's gonna be in that office.
you know, Karen be in that office.
She be in that office. And I'll be right back when I'm here. Come back fast. I'll be here.
Things just happen, you know. So, you know, what I say, I have a specific time block. I probably don't. You know, I do have times where I'm doing stuff. And for the most part, man, you know, I'm usually in my follow-up, calling people like, hey, man, you said, you know, you ready? You ready? And, you know, before long, you know, things start happening, start moving people along, but people just start getting in touch with you, like, because they see that you're committed to helping them, you know, and then that's, you know, things just start coming, you know.
So I got some pretty good takeaways from this. I heard time blocking, following up, making sure you're being in contact with at least 20 people a day is helpful. Don't be a secret agent. Let people know that you're in real estate. Leverage to allow yourself to do the 5 jobs of a real estate agent. Who can tell me the 5 jobs?
Lead generation, lead follow-up, go on appointments, yeah.
Negotiate in education, practice.
That practice and role play. There we
Who
go.
said that?
All right.
Who said that?
So, lead generation, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, practice and role play. So what I didn't hear in the job of a real estate agent was sit at inspections, do paperwork, or any of those other things. So that can all be leveraged, and that's what I'm hearing up here, is that in order to do the dollar productive work, you can pay someone, you know, $15 an hour, $20 an hour, while you're out there making thousands an hour.
And what I do is I pay my transaction coordinator per deal. Right now, that's just where I'm at, but it's very
That's okay.
helpful.
Yeah, and it still takes,
And that's
it
just-
takes it off
that's
your
just-
plate. Everybody
Yeah.
starts different ways. I started off like that, but
I
As you
I paid per
increase your
transaction when I
sales, they
first
can
had
add
my
up.
account.
Get 7 per month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pay you per hour.
Transaction coordinator, I had a full-time admin too in the office. So the transaction coordinator, they handle all the paperwork. It takes the leg work out of, you know, everything that you would normally do, title, paperwork.
Right.
And then I went
call.
to my virtual assistant because my full-time admin, she thought she wanted to sell real estate when she saw how much money I was making.
That
She had to
happens.
close
Yeah,
the
that
deal.
happens.
She actually, her license is in escrow.
And that's when you grow them into your team.
Yeah, I have that too, so I just try to,
Ain't nothing wrong with doing it that way.
I think just meet with the transaction coordinator, even if you don't have to sell 5, 6 houses a month to do that, but I found myself, if I have 3 pending, I'm like, oh my God, I got 3 pending, but I'm
Right, you can
spending
get 3
5
more,
hours on
right.
paperwork.
Absolutely.
Just 5
Yeah,
hours
that
and I'm
makes
just making
sense.
sure everything is right, doing all this, and then I got inspections, I gotta talk to the lender, you know, so you just, and also just those relationships outside of just your potential clients, you have to gather those relationships with your peers also.
So important.
Those are very
So
important because if you're nasty to them, you know, you want to be able to leverage that when you're trying, you have a buyer or you're reverse on the other side. You just want to make sure that you have that leverage.
Yeah, you have an inside and an outside client.
Mhm.
When I
Yep.
used to teach that at night class, it's just as important because you guys, we all have run into them. There are people out here who aren't nice.
No.
And, you know,
You're
whether or
kidding.
not it's. What you say?
Get out of here.
Yeah, but you know, I know I'm making a mental note, like, yeah, I don't wanna deal with her no more, you know, or him no more, right? So, you know, if you're gonna call yourself yelling or cussing, I hang up the phone. So I think, but you know, so I go, I don't wanna deal with
That's
you.
so important. though.
Yeah, it's very important to try to have-
Multiples, people know you and they like you and
And
say,
they'll
hey,
shoot-
Katrina,
yeah.
let me just, it matters.
it's gonna be
Don't
smooth.
burn no bridges with other agents. I
You sure
mean,
can, and you
because
have,
they,
that's right.
that helps you out. It
Yeah,
People work
really
with people
does.
they know, like, and trust.
Absolutely, and that's other agents as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
In the office and co-broks.
And that helped me a lot with the multiples, like you said, when we were doing all multiples, I know there were people that were like, oh, Lisa, I know you. You
Me too,
know,
yeah.
and I've worked with you before, you know.
Well, they know you're a closer.
Closer too,
And
Yeah,
that
that's
too.
important too, is to know the clients you have and know everything up front. Because agents on the other end, you can let a deal fall apart, and when they see you coming back across, you
They
may
go,
be
yeah.
reluctant to give it. I did a lot of deals based on agents, just knew that I'm a closer, and, or I saw it come on the market, and then the neighbor asked the buyer, how you get that house so quick,
Yeah.
So relationships is key, but you got agents that, don't call no other brokerages, but are not the nice,
Yeah.
So there's some lenders too.
and lenders.
Yeah, the lender just called today and it was so funny. It's a co-bro, it's not even my lender. He said, hey, you know what? We've had about 10 obstacles. He said, isn't it nice that we have 2 good agents and a good lender, talking about himself. And no matter what happens, we're still closing about 10 days early. He said, have a good weekend. I said, you too. And it's been like that. It's just a pleasure. No matter what problem, the agent gonna, hey, Satrina, we got this and that. The lender's calling, I'm gonna call the pest people. I'm gonna get this straight. And it's been like a team. And it was like, he called me like late, after hours, he was like, this is something here. We're still gonna close early, but it was because a great lender, a great agent, and 2 great agents. I guess I was one of them. But anyway, I mean, it was just like a pleasure,
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, this team, we all on the same team. Our fiduciary duty is to the seller and the buyer, but it's the common goal is to make everybody happy, come to the middle,
A win-win.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. It's a win-win, yeah.
So before we kind of wrap this up, are there any questions that you have for our illustrious panel up here about finding your next deal or any other part of real estate? Yes.
How do you work with investors?
Well, there are a couple.
Okay.
All right. That's right.
I need somebody to work with.
Great question, because I've been working with quite a few investors as of late, and I think the thing that most investors want to see, and what I've come to find out, is a lot of them want to see that you are willing to grind
That's it.
and make things happen. Because for the most part, that's what they want to see. They want to see that, hey, you're gonna work hard, you're gonna get things done.
Knowledgeable in the market.
These
Yeah.
transactions that I have going right now, 24 of them are from an investor. I just got 19 more listings that's getting ready to go into the MLS, which are from another investor. Just picked up another investor who has multiple properties again, which I just listed 2 of his properties yesterday, and I'm gonna be listing more. So when they start seeing, and investors know other investors, I'm finding that out. They know a lot of other investors. So once you do a good job for one investor and they see that you were the type of person that can go out and get the job done, they're gonna
They'll
refer
call.
you more people.
Don't
They
call
refer you
me.
more people.
No.
And working with them is just basically, it's the same as any other transaction when it comes to paperwork and things like that. But the key thing is establishing your relationship in the beginning and letting them know, this is how, for me, this is how I work. This is what you can expect from me. And then just living up to the expectation.
Their numbers people too. So you gotta
Make
get
sure
those
that they got the money and the
Numbers.
credentials too.
So know your numbers,
numbers. No, like ARV,
yeah.
things like that.
So all the numbers that they're interested in, cap rates, ARV, cash flow, those are the numbers they care about.
That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
Not a question. I wanted to comment on the meeting we had and something that you said, like Alexis is saying, being present, let everybody know, don't be a secret agent. I'm all of those. But I've been in it for 35 years and Carol gets mad when I say I'm going the other way out of the business, but I still want business. And even when in my younger years, I was always a secret agent. Like people would say, oh, you didn't tell me you sold real estate. I've only had 20 conversations with them and they didn't know. And I used to do that and I forgot, but the easiest thing, kind of like what Lisa has on her laptop, but even better, is if you always wear a name tag with your company. So for me, that does what I'm not gonna do, because I may run into somebody and if they're interested, they're gonna say something, oh, you sell real estate? Did one day, I left it at home the second day, but that one day, I work out at Lifetime, they were like, oh, you have any cards? I never even knew, you never said that, we have talked so much. Gave them that. One, I'm getting in more than he, I mean, it's just crazy. I had a name tag for one day, probably 1 real lead and 2 to go in my database. But I'm saying that just to say that I didn't have to say anything. And so for people that may not be, I'm outgoing, I just don't say anything. You could just get a nice professional name tag, and wherever you're going, if you have it on, they're gonna ask you. Cause I'm a secret agent, so then I won't be secret because I have that name tag on. And that was one of the best things I got out of the meeting. I don't even know how many people have a Keller Williams name tag.
You can order them from,
No, I have a nice one. Paula had bought one.
Vistaprint,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, how many people wear those in
I,
there?
I still wear it.
When I
You
was
wear one,
actually
John?
doing more real
I
estate.
have about 5 name tags, yeah.
Do you wear them?
I don't wear them as much as I used to.
Why you got 5? You wear them? You wear, you don't wear, oh, you
Right.
wear.
When I first came from Virginia, I would just order t-shirts from Amazon that said different realtor things.
Yeah, I have a couple of those, but you know, the name tag, you can wear it every day, you know?
Yeah. Now, you can order them from Vistaprint.
Keller
And-
Williams used to have them, but they don't, but it's another site, Vistaprint, I can't think of, if you put it in.
Sufect,
Huh?
is that one called Sufect? No,
I cannot think of the name of this site, cause I was just looking. And I'm surprised when you all went to family reunion that they didn't even have a table that had name tags, did they? So,
I can't
I
remember.
didn't really go through the shops.
Yeah.
Cause
I
my
saw the
coach
hats
was
and
there, and
shirts.
she said she didn't see,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just an easy way, I'm just saying, if
Yeah.
you're not
That is
talking to
easy.
say
That's
that, you whatever you're doing,
conversation.
you at the grocery store, wherever you're at, it's crazy how many people are like, oh, you sell real estate, you have a card? I'm like, okay, good, I didn't have to talk here. I'm gonna keep a card, I may not give it to you. So you ask me for it, I'll give it to you.
Another thing is I keep on, not the bag that I have tonight, but I have on a key ring, my QR code. That's on my bag.
Oh, wow.
And people say, do you have cards? Because I've gone away from carrying cards now.
That's good.
And so I said, oh, you can scan right here. And-
Well, you miss not technology, no command, but you're walking around with your QR code. At least I don't wanna hear it. I don't wanna hear it. I don't even have that. Look at her.
I use the dot
You
card.
guys use Bling, so you
I
have
was gonna
Bling,
say the blame.
so you have Bling, and you just
That's what I
tap their phone and it'll transfer information.
Right.
Yeah,
Set me up.
yeah, I have,
Yeah.
I have Instacart, which that's another thing that does that. So, and it links you to all of your social media and everything, and to your website and everything. So that's also a good thing. So I don't even carry cards anymore. I go, do you got your phone?
Okay.
And you know.
Yeah, I use that card, the electronic cards too, but, and then I make sure they follow me on social media. But I need to order some cards. I'm out. I need to order those because cards are good to have, like where if you're at the restaurant or if you're out, you just
Yes.
Yeah,
wanna
they're
leave
good
a card
to
with
have.
a
You
tip.
need, they don't take the place.
Yeah.
Nothing takes the place of
I have
cards.
a copy of my card on my phone, and
I just
as a
sent
way
it
to
to
lead
them.
capture people, is to get their phone number and text it to them.
Mm.
Now I got your name, I got your number right there.
Hey.
I got my card.
Good idea.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about this, because once you send it, it automatically captures their information, or at least their phone number.
Oh,
Yes.
that's great.
You
Oh,
can
that's
automatically
good.
save it on your phone.
You just,
Right.
Contact,
Right.
you can automatically save it as a contact.
yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that's
and
good.
it also show where you met them at.
Really?
So that was
Are you
like, yeah,
serious?
that's really good because Instacart doesn't do that. And we came back from family reunion having met, 100 new people. And we thought that, well, it's like, okay, well, we need to just, download all the people that we just met into the database and, I didn't have it. There was no way to capture it on Instacart. So Blink does it that way. Yeah, I was kind of
Capture where
mad
you
about
met
that.
'em at.
So I wanna go back to something that just got glanced
That's
over.
good.
How many people did you meet at family reunions?
Well.
Cause I know just from seeing you and Doxy, you don't go there to not work, you go there to network.
Yes.
So when you go to these events,
Yes.
you are a master at that, and I've watched you do it
Yes.
for several years.
She
And
is.
so, tell us about your referral business based on that.
My referral business, about 30% of my business, if not a little bit more, is referral business. And we have gone to family reunion 7 years in a row. And it is, we go there with the objective of meeting people, networking with people, and making sure people know who we are, where we work, so that if they have anybody that is coming to Keller, to Cleveland, that, you know, to think of us. I mean, you know, and it's really funny because, you know, people don't know geography and they'll go, I got somebody in Cincinnati. I'm going, yeah, it's a little far. But that's our goal every year, to, you know, reconnect with people, and we get together with people. It's a lot of fun, but we go there with goals to hand out things, make sure people, as a matter of fact, if anybody wants to.
I call Lisa if I have somebody and I need to know. I said, Lisa, who's a good agent in the land?
Yeah.
Lisa, who's a good agent here?
Yeah.
She will tell me because she's got the connection.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
we got
These
this?
hand sanitizers
Wow.
that we've given out in the past, and everything to people. And the year that we gave out the hand sanitizers, I said, hi, I'm Lisa. We give out referrals, not germs.
That's great.
Guess what year that was?
That's
That was
2020.
Yeah, that was 2020.
2020.
When
Give out
I-
referrals, not germs.
February of 2020, went to family reunion, and we had no idea that we were in the pandemic, right?
Right.
And I said, we give out, you know, my name is Lisa, we give out referrals, not germs.
So you all see what's happening right
Great.
now. Lisa's working this room right now. Lisa's
Lisa, get back up here and sit down. Look, I bring goodies everywhere I go. You know, but yeah, so when we go, we make sure that we are having breakfast, lunch, and dinner
Yeah, you
With-
guys do, you work your
with a different
family.
group of people every time. And we're always, and you know, you pick up ideas that people are doing in different markets. That's very important. I mean, you know, that you don't necessarily hear when you're here, so.
Wonderful. Any other questions for our panel before we wrap up?
Good job, guys.
I have a
Good
question.
job.
What do you do when you have someone that wanna sell their property, but they don't wanna sell it because they feel like they won't have a place to stay, like they need a place to live? There's got a lot of people in that situation. They wanna sell their property, but they're unsure about where they wanna move to.
So what do you think, like, I guess you would have to dig into the barriers, like what is their barriers to purchasing another home, or just maybe even look into like a short-term lease?
What's the motivation?
Well,
Yeah, like
Right.
what's the reason for them wanting
Gotta
to
find a
sell?
motivation.
I don't even know that it's no motivation. I think it's more so the trust. It's that they're not trusting that they will
Yeah,
find.
uncertain, that's what it is. You gotta make it feel secure.
So you have to earn their trust. Just to speak to that, I had that situation multiple times, just this past year, in the middle of this crazy market, you know, where, I had a listing on East Minor in Mayfield Heights around the corner from my house. And, their question, their whole challenge was, I don't know if we're gonna find a home in time, you know, but my thing I told them was like, you know what, you just have to trust me as your real estate professional, that I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna beat these streets and I'm gonna find something for you. You know, and at that point, I don't know what to call it, but whatever it is, your drive has to kick in. You know, and it's like, all right, hey, listen, I got these people house under contract. I got so many days that I gotta get out and go find them something. So, you know, I was on Facebook. I did a Facebook Live. I was out door knocking.
Yeah.
Literally, it was like, okay, it's time for me to get out. I got to go hustle. I got to go find these people a home. And I'm an energy person. You know, a lot of times when you bring the right energy into a transaction or what it is that you do, you know, God gonna open it up for you.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you starting to do the right things and you starting to get things in motion, and when you set the right action in place, God gonna anoint it. So I always go into it with that. I trust that this is gonna happen because I'm gonna go out here and go do what I'm supposed to do to make it happen. And lo and behold, you know, after door knocking a few times, I went to Mayfield High School down the street. I'm riding the neighborhood. every single day. I said, all right, well, this time if I just got home from the office, let me go ahead and let me spin this block. Let me go on Highland Heights. Let me see what I see over there. Let me see what's over here by Woodhawk. You know, found it for sale by owner. Sign had popped up. Called him right away. Was like, I'm glad I found your home. Like, you know, hey, I'm John Murchison with Keller Williams Realty. I'm calling because I got a buyer looking in your area right now. You know, they just have to say, yeah, we're very interested. Like, yeah, we were getting ready to list the house in the next couple of days with someone. But listen, I got a buyer that's very interested in this area. You know, is there an opportunity that I may be able to bring them by, take a look at your house, see if it's something they're interested in? They say, yeah, sure. So they had their agent that were on list the property, wound up giving me a call. That night, we set it up so that we can go and view the property that day, that next day. And lo and behold, the house is nice. Nice house. It was like, wow, you know, $420,000 house. You know, we wound up working out the deal to where we could close their property. And then on the top side of that is just assure them that you may have to stretch out the contract dates.
Right,
Their
because-
property.
and it's gotta be
Right.
contingent. I do all mine
Right.
contingent upon them finding home of their choice.
Right. It's gotta
That
be
makes them
contingent
feel
on that.
comfortable.
But
You can't
yeah.
write a contract and just
Right.
not have any contingency in there. And you still gotta do what John said, but you have to have, nobody's just gonna sign and be like, oh, it's closing in 40 days or 30 days or 25, I don't have a house, so it's contingent.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
did
it's
30
contingent
days.
upon that, and,
Yeah.
instead of
Catch a
doing the
new agent,
normal
they'll let it
30
go.
or 45-day close, say, hey, man, I need 60 days at
And you
least.
control that.
Yeah.
At least.
percentage.
And when
Because
that
it
market
doesn't
was
matter.
crazy,
Like,
they
you
waited
can-
till
you
next
can
year
set a
to get
closing
the house.
date out 90 days if you have to. You know, it's just on how the lender's gonna have to work it. You know, but that's what you need to focus on. Just reassure them that, hey, listen, put your trust in me. I'm gonna find you a home. What we could do on the front end is we go on the contract. We're gonna have to let them know that, hey, we need to extend closing dates to give you an opportunity to find you a home. And so that's just a contingency for there. Then you gotta go to work.
I have that nervousness too when I'm selling someone's home and then they have to purchase another home. So I'm always like, how strong are you? What's going on? You know, so I'm always contacting the lender because I don't want to make sure that, well, make sure you put those contingencies in because I want to make sure that I'm not just, you know, selling their home and then they have nowhere to go, you know? Because anything can come up, the underwriting, anything, you know, so I just really just stay a hold of the lender.
So I want to thank you all for coming and being here and blessing us with all this information. And I think the main thing I take away from this is the hustle. What I kept hearing was I'm working all the time. And I'm working for my clients, I'm working for my family, and I'm working for myself. And I hear that from all three of you up on this panel that you are constantly thinking about how to grow your business, how to build that business, and being purposeful about your business. So I appreciate you being here, and I want to say thank you.